So, you're thinking about doing an exchange year. My name is Lina and I did an exchange year a couple years ago to the US. And I want to tell you 5 things that you might want to consider before making that decision. First of all, traveling costs a lot of money. The exchange year itself tends to be pretty expensive. Speaking from my own experience, it cost about 8,500 euro. And not just that, but also whenever you want to visit friends and family you might make while you're there. The flight, at least from Germany to the USA, would cost about 1,000 euro. So that's not very cheap either. And therefore, if you don't have like tons and tons of money, you won't be able to see them again all that much. Also, depending on the exchange rate between your country, your home country, and the country where you're going, you will be able to spend more or less money, which wasn't specifically a problem for me in the US because I think the euro has a bit more worth, so to say, than the dollar, so that was good for me, but it depends. Secondly, you might experience some isolation and loneliness while you're there. You're new in a new country, with new people, a new family. Nothing there is familiar to you yet. And even though at the beginning everything will be very exciting and people will probably also be interested in you, asking you questions and all that, as soon as some kind of routine starts to get in, but you might not have super close friends and the likes, you might find yourself sitting at home by yourself or sitting in school by yourself, depending on lunch hours and all these kind of things. This can be more or less depending on the family you have, how engaging they are, and also if there are other exchange students. Because of the similar situation that you're in, it will be easier to make friends with them first before then finding other friends or staying friends with them, of course. It also depends on your own self. If you're very extroverted and outgoing, it will definitely be easier for you to make friends. But for people like me who are introverted and might also have some social anxiety, it can be a bit difficult to get to that place where you feel super comfortable with those who at the moment are still strangers. So that takes some time, and until you get to that point, you might be a bit lonely. Thirdly is changing your family. What if you hate your family? What if you get there and they are nothing like you expected them to be? The thing is, usually with those programs they tell you to wait it out, to give it time, see if maybe you just need to get to know each other and adjust. And that is something a friend of mine experienced over there. She was an exchange student as well, and she didn't get along with her family very well, but she had been told to wait it out, to see if they get along, and so on. So she did, and once that didn't happen, she went to our coordinator of that organization we traveled with and asked to be moved. But then she was told to wait it out and see if not maybe something would change. In the end, she had to wait about half a year, live half a year with that family, which is half the time she gets of that whole experience, before then being moved out to the coordinator to then live there for a month maybe, something like that, before they could find a new family to move her there, which that family was okay after that. It just took away a lot from the experience she could have had, the time she could have had to bond with the family if she had gotten moved sooner. She also missed a lot of the security she could have had during that experience. That experience itself is it's quite difficult, because you don't fit in anywhere, don't know the people, don't know the culture, don't know the country, it's all foreign to you. So if you don't even have a stable home to come back to after being out and about and all that, that can be very difficult. So I think that is a pretty serious point, that the organization organization needs to work on, that they listen to those students more, that if they want to be moved, they move them immediately. Number 4 is language in school. I myself was required by my school in Germany to take math as well as US history when I went abroad. And almost all of the vocabulary used in those 2 classes I had never heard before. They were not taught in school up to this point, and that was very difficult for me. Especially taking tests and such, and doing homework. My host mom to this day likes to reference walking in on me once doing my homework with 2 laptops in front of me, using one to do the homework and the other one to translate whatever I was doing, as well as, of course, the papers and stuff. It can be very time consuming and difficult, so yeah. Also, coming back home, my English was still far from perfect. I had learned to understand the English language a lot better, and also speak it, of course, but still, when I then started doing some kind of AP classes, higher education English classes in Germany, because of that background I had, I noticed quite quickly that I still missed a ton of vocabulary. And of course that's good, because this way I wasn't bored in class, was still learning. But also, it isn't that you go abroad once and then it's all said and done, I'm still learning today, and it's been a couple of years since I graduated school, and I don't know, like 5 or 6 years since I was abroad for that exchange year, and yeah, I'm still learning today. But yeah, so that's just something to consider. Your English still won't be perfect, or whatever language you want to learn in whatever country you want to go. And now, finally, and worst of all, number 5. Leaving and coming back home. Yeah. That was especially difficult for me. When I left, it felt like I was leaving behind not just the people I started to like and love, but also a whole life I had begun to build in that past year. I had difficulty fitting in and all that, and then after about half a year I had finally managed to get to that point and become comfortable in that situation, in the family, in the school and all that, in the community. And then I had to leave. All of a sudden, it felt like being ripped out of that life I had just built around myself and being thrown back into my old home, where basically nothing had changed, or at least that's what it felt like. So little that it was so strange. I had changed so much over that past year. It took me quite a while to readjust to that. During the summer I was very spaced out and a lot on my phone, texting friends and family overseas. Yeah, it took me at least half a year to kind of come back home. Also, what was hard was dealing with the emotions of leaving friends and family overseas behind, and not knowing if the bond you built or created would be strong enough to survive the distance and time that was going to come between you now. Because, as I said, the US is far away and very it's very expensive to travel there, so I wouldn't be able to see them that soon again. Also, coming back home, which wasn't as bad, but also to some degree a bit shocking, or played into the whole negative side of coming back home, was the reverse culture shock I experienced. Going to the US, I didn't really experience a culture shock, luckily, but coming back home, I had gotten used to the positive and active and energetic school spirit, US spirit. I don't know. So many people were just so active and energetic there. And then here in Germany, it was so different. People were somewhat unmotivated or also complaining a lot. That's something I noticed. Complain a lot. And also in school there was no school spirit, and neither was there this more like loose relationship people had with their teachers overseas, or at least from what I experienced. I'm sure that's not the same everywhere. But after all that, I still have to say that I don't regret a thing. All those negative points, they are heavily outweighed by the positive points, if you want to weigh it like that. And I would do it again anytime, definitely. I still have contact to my host family overseas up to today. I had a wonderful time there. My family was absolutely the best. And yeah, super nice people. And basically they're a second family I have overseas right now. And that's incredible. And also, just in general, going abroad, it teaches you so much. Not just the language, you know, but also about yourself and interpersonal and the culture and all that. It really makes you more open-minded. Yeah, it's, if you get the chance to do something like this, like go abroad for whatever reason, if you want to study abroad, do an exchange year, do an au pair, or just travel in general, definitely do it. I can't tell you how much this is, what an impact this experience had on my life. Like, yeah, it's incredible, and you should definitely do it if you can. So yeah, if you have any other questions for me, or comments because you're an exchange student yourself or whatever and want to help other people out who might be watching this video, comment down below, or you can ask me if you want a little more private setting via my email address, which will be in the description box, as well as my Instagram name if you prefer to contact me through that. And yeah, that's basically it. If you like this video, you can hit that like button, share it if you think somebody else might enjoy this, and subscribe, of course, if you want to maybe see that second part of this video, the exchange year thing. So yeah, I think that's all.